Hey everyone, I'm Bethany and welcome to my channel. Today's project is the southwestern inspired serape baby Lovey, featuring an adorable coyote friend. The serape Lovey is made with Baby Hugs, a yarn by Red Heart. This yarn is perfect for the serape. It's soft, it's squishy, it's made specifically for babies, and it has a beautiful color palette. Also, don't be intimidated by the color work in this project. It's much easier than it looks. You can find a link to a video in the description that details exactly how to read a graph as well as how to easily change colors. If you feel like you need a little help there, make sure to watch the video and come back. In the description, you will also find a link to my materials list, as well as a link to a free crochet pattern so you can follow along. Ready to get started? Let's go! Okay, so we're gonna get started. I have my yarn picked out here. The blanket, the inside part uses, I would definitely recommend using these colors, the black, ink, and then this one is called shell for the middle part. But then I did work with a couple different colors for the outside. I did another one in an aqua color called pool. This is called peachy. And then of course I love gray, so I'm using dolphin. So these colors are going to alternate on the blanket with this one, and then these two alternate with the color work in the middle. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to be starting with your color. We're working with 3 neutrals and then a color. So start with a slip knot and then work a chain of 52 chains. Okay, so there's our chain 52. So you're just going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and you're going to work a single crochet in each chain back across. Okay, so that's row 1. You're going to turn again. This whole thing is worked turning after each row. So for rows 2 through 4, you're going to repeat this and work a single crochet in each chain across, or stitch. So for 4 rows, you're going to be working in this peachy, making 4 rows. So work up to row 4 by working a chain 1 and a single crochet in each stitch, and then meet me back here. Okay, so we just completed row 4. You just did all 4 rows in that same color, and so now we're going to join our second color, and I'm using dolphin, this beautiful gray color. And you're going to join it here. What I like to do is I just like to pull it through the loop and then pull that one closed so that it's like non-existent. Pull it tight so that it kind of disappears, and then you're ready with your new loop. Kind of have to keep it pulled down. So I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to carry peachy all the way through. So chain 1, single crochet, you're going to single crochet in each stitch across, but you're going to lay that end over the top of the stitches and work it inside and carry it all the way across. Okay, so now we're going to turn, and we're going to drop the gray, drop dolphin, and then switch back over to peachy. You can do it the same way, where you just pull it through and pull that down tight. Chain 1, and then you're going to again need to carry the gray so that it's there when you need it on the other side. So chain 1 and then single crochet in each stitch across. Okay, so we've completed that row. Now we're going to drop peachy, switch back over to dolphin gray, and you're not going to carry it this time, you're going to drop it. And for the next 4 rows, you're going to work only using the gray. So we had 4 there, and then we kind of do the serape style where you switch. You do one row, kind of make it look like it's fading into the next color a little bit. So for the next 4 rows, you're going to work the entire row with dolphin gray. Okay, so we're going to switch back to peachy. So we're going to drop that, and peachy's clear down here, so you're going to pull it up and you're going to have that thread across the edge, but you're going to cover that up when you do a border later. But if you can, try to make it not like super tight so that it scrunches it, but tight enough that it won't kind of get in the way as you're working around it when you work the border later. So you're going to bring up peachy, and then you're going to carry dolphin again across. So work chain 1 and work a single crochet in each stitch across, carrying dolphin as you go. Okay, we're going to switch back to dolphin again. So we're dropping peachy. And again, you're going to carry the unused yarn across. So work it within your stitches as you go. Okay, so at this point you are done with gray until you get to the other side, so you can clip dolphin. And then you're going to bring up your peachy again. And then for the next 4 rows, you're going to be working peachy. So for single crochet in each stitch across for 4 more rows. Okay, so we completed the 4th row of peachy. Now you're going to bring up your 3rd color, which is the same neutral color that you're going to be using, that's going to be on the inside of the color work that you're going to work in a few rounds. So this cream color is called Shell. And work 1 row of Shell and make sure that you're carrying peachy, because we're going to be alternating stripes for the next couple rows. Okay, now you're going to switch back to peachy. And you're going to carry Shell through the row. So work a single crochet in each stitch across using peachy, carrying Shell, so that you have it when you need it on the other side. Okay, so you're going to switch back to Shell. Turn, and again you're going to be carrying peachy through it. So work a single crochet in each stitch across, carrying peachy. Okay, so you're going to drop Shell, switch back to peachy. And then work a single crochet in each stitch across, carrying Shell this time. Okay, so from here, We are done with peachy for the moment until we start on the other side. So you can clip that. And then you're going to bring up shell. And you're going to work 2 rows with shell. So chain 1, single crochet in each stitch across, turning, work 2 rows. And then we're going to start the really pretty color work that goes in the middle of the blanket. Okay, so that completes the striping of the first part of the blanket. So the next part is the color work. We're going to be alternating between this shell color and the black color. So I will have a printed graph here as I'm going along with it, but it might be helpful for you to have a copy as well. So follow the link in the description and print off a copy and meet me back here and we'll get started. Okay, so we are now ready to start on the graph part of this blanket. I have, again, you can make sure that you get this printed off. There's a link in the description. And so I have another video that goes extensively into how to read graphs, which I have also linked to in the description. So I'm not going to go super deep into that here, but each square represents 1 single crochet stitch. And because the graph is symmetrical, normally you would need to go read this row, and then 2 you would start from the left, 3 you would start from the right, 4th you'd start from the left. But because it's symmetrical, you can just work from right to left the whole time. So we're going to bring in our black. This color is called ink. And since the first square is black, we're going to join it right here on the end. And you're going to carry the shell because you're going to be alternating as you go along. So I'm going to work 5 black. And then on the 5th one, I'm going to drop the black, pull through with shell. Then I'm going to work 5 with shell. I'm going to drop shell before I finish that last stitch and pull through ink. Then I'm going to work 5 with ink. So on that 5th one, I'm dropping ink and pulling through shell. So then I'm going to work 5 with shell. And again, make sure you're carrying that unused yarn. You don't want to do the Fair Isle technique where it runs around along the back because you're doing a blanket and you don't want it to have the ends on the back. Okay, so we're here. So we're going to work 4 with ink. And then 3 with shell. And then 4 with ink. Then you're going to work 5 with shell. 5 with ink. Five with shell. And then the last 5 stitches will be in ink. Okay, so we're turning our piece, and now we're going to be working on row 2. So the first stitch is shell. So we're going to pull shell through. And there's only one, so you're not even going to finish the stitch, and switch to ink. And then work 5 ink. And then after that, we're going to work 5 in shell. Okay, and make sure that you're keeping it tight so that it doesn't pop through, so that you can't see the stitches, but loose enough that your fabric isn't super tight. So I need to undo that last stitch because I finished it. Pull through. Then work 5 in ink. And then 5 in shell. So we've done 2 blacks, 2 in shell, and so now we're to the middle part. So you're going to work 4 in ink. And then only 1 in shell. And then 4 more in ink. Whoops, except you gotta finish that last stitch with shell. And then you're gonna work 5 shell. Then we're going to work 5 in ink. Five in shell. Five more in ink. And then that very last stitch will be in shell. Okay, so we're turning. We're starting on the third row up, which is row 25. So we have the first 2 stitches are shell, and make sure that you're carrying ink. so that it's there when you need it next. So 2 stitches in shell, 5 stitches in ink, five stitches in shell, five stitches in ink, five stitches in shell, and then on this row you're going to work 7 in ink, because we're working this row. Then 5 in shell, five in ink, five in shell, five more in ink, and then the last 2 will be in shell. Okay, so you can kind of see the picture coming to life a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to let you finish the graph. Again, you're going to just be working, each square is 1 single crochet, and you can just work it right to left every single row because it is symmetrical. So again, if you didn't grab your graph, you can follow the link in the description and print off the graph, and I recommend using a pen to mark off the squares because that can kind of keep track of where you were at. So finish the graph and meet me back here and we'll finish the stripes on the blanket. Okay, so we have finished the graph portion of this little blanket. You can see that really pretty chevron pattern. So now we're going to go back to rows. So basically you're just going to repeat exactly what we did here, opposite the way that we did it, so mirrored. So starting in the next row, we're going to be turning. Make sure you clip that black. We're going to be starting with shell. And for the next 2 rows, you're going to work a single crochet in each stitch across using shell. So you're going to have 2 rows of shell because we are mirroring the same pattern back. Okay, so we finished up the 2 rows of shell. So we're going to turn. And then we're going to join Peachy again. And then we're going to work one row with peachy. Whoops, and you want to make sure that you are carrying shell across because you're going to need it when you get to the other side to start back over. So carrying shell and using peachy, single crochet one row across. Okay, so we finished that row in peachy. So we're going to turn. And then we're going to do one row in shell. So switch back to shell, and then you're going to carry peachy across. So work one row in single crochet using shell. And switch back to peachy again, and we're going to carry shell one last time because we have one more row that we're going to use it with. So work a single crochet in each stitch across using peachy. Okay, so we've got one more row of shell, so you're going to drop peachy, join shell, and then you are still carrying peachy across. So work one more row with shell, and then we will be done with shell. A single crochet in each stitch across for one row. Okay, so once you finish that row, we are done with shell, so you can cut that end. And then join or pull through peachy. Make sure you turn. And then you're going to work 4 rows with peachy, single crochet in each stitch. All the way across, we're going to do 4 rows. Again, because we're mirroring down here. So work 4 rows in single crochet, and then we will meet and move on. Okay, so now we're going to join dolphin. So you just pull a loop through and tighten. And then carrying peachy, you're going to work one row with dolphin. Single crochet in each stitch for one row. Okay, and then we're going to drop dolphin, pull up peachy, turn, then we're going to work one row in peachy, carrying dolphin, okay, so now we're going to switch back over to dolphin. Again, you're going to carry peachy through the row. One single crochet in each stitch across for one row using dolphin. Okay, so now you're going to drop peachy, and we're going to work 4 rows in dolphin, and you're not going to carry the peachy at all. You're going to let it just hang, and then you're going to pull it up when you're done with the 4 rows. So work 4 rows in single crochet using dolphin, and then we will continue from that point. Okay, so we finished those 4 rows in dolphin. So you're going to pull up peachy, and you want to keep it loose enough that you're not scrunching it, but tight enough that it doesn't become like bothersome when you go to crochet around the edge later. So we're going to turn. You're going to carry gray through the row and you're going to single crochet in each stitch across. Okay, so now we're going to switch back over to dolphin. Again, you're going to carry Peachy through the row. One single crochet in each stitch across for one row using dolphin. Okay, so that is our last row with dolphin. So you can clip that yarn. And then you're going to bring up Peachy. And the very last 4 rows of Peachy, or of the blanket, are worked in Peachy. So single crochet in each stitch across for 4 more rows to complete the blanket part of the project. And then we will continue. Okay, so now the blanket part is done. We just need to finish with a nice border. So you can continue with Peachy if you want less ends to weave in. I personally like the look of one of the neutrals, so I'm going to use Shell. And I definitely recommend weaving in your ends first, but I'm just going to continue on from this point. So if you want to pause for a second and get your ends weaved in, then go ahead and do that. But what you just do is you single crochet as evenly as you can. So going down the side is a little bit funky because you're not working into stitches, but I try to just do 1 single crochet per row. So I just work 1 into that one, 1 into that one, and you can see that there's just 1 stitch for each what is now a vertical row. And when you're coming down, you want to make sure that you're working around those ends that we pulled up. So just work a nice even row down the side, and obviously when you get to the bottom you can work 1 in each stitch. But when you get down to the corner, make sure that you work 3 in the corner so that it doesn't curl up. And in all of the corners, of course. Every corner should have 3 worked into it. Okay, and when you get to this last point, I'm going to make sure that you work 3. That last corner, and then you can join. You can see that we've got that nice clean edge. This side doesn't look as clean because we're working in the sides of the stitches, but definitely looks better than the raw edge. So it needs a good blocking, so you can wash and block it before we move on, but join me for my next video as we make the head and the arms and then complete the Lovey. So tune in to the next video and we'll get it finished. Bye.